Patanjali's yoga, centuries ago, as he talked about, meets the neuroscience of today. So what do we know about the dopamine surge, the pleasure neurochemical, the one that creates inner bliss and a sense of peace and compassion for others? That is stimulated through what we call the movement and flow therapy. So yoga is a framework, Patanjali's yoga, that he talked about centuries ago, a way to stimulate our mind, way to strengthen our body as we prepare ourselves to sharpen our spatial and emotional intelligence. So keeping that concept in mind, the concept of niyama, the svadhyaya, that's the self-study as proposed by Patanjali centuries ago, meets the research done in neurosciences about how dopamine surge happens when we strengthen our body, the physical body. It creates flow of energy in the energy body, and that also stimulates the dopamine and serotonin neurochemicals in our nervous system. Keeping that concept in mind, the Patanjali Svadhyaya, the self-study, meets the dopamine surge in the neurosciences as we strengthen our body, as we strengthen our intelligence, we work on our spatial and emotional intelligence. The second aspect that's very important in yoga is about 10 to 20% rule. So 10 to 20% rule applies to yoga done on the mat, 10 to 20% of time that we spend through our asanas, through our working on our concentration, breath work. Rest of the time, the remaining 80 to 90% of yoga is practiced off the mat. This is where we bring the principles of Patanjali alive on a yogic path from intention, from svadhyaya, from sankalpa. Sankalpa is the intention, svadhyaya is the self-study, and on to the final stage that is known as samadhi, where we achieve the highest levels of emotional and spatial intelligence. This also helps us to sharpen our interpersonal intelligence, where we are able to incorporate these principles and we interact with others as we handle stress. So keeping those concepts in mind, Patanjali's centuries-old directions, instructions about yoga is coming to full flow through the studies in neurosciences, which shows that samadhi, the stage of highest levels of awareness, mindfulness, enlightenment, is achieved through strengthening the physical body, activating the emotional body, and also creating a sense of calmness, bliss within us. Thank you.